They're here, they're here, they're here! Hey, it's Care. Welcome to my Ticket to Lake. I didn't even take time to put some cool something down for you to look at, because look, it's here! My little books are here! So again, if you haven't watched the other videos, this is a new obsession based on a Meg Journals new series in doing a small, and I mean tiny, altered book. These little books are so cool. I saw her first video in her series that she was starting a new altered book. But it was just this little guy, and hers was The Observer's Book of Wildflowers. And it has a nice little green cover on it. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I couldn't find any at first because I was looking for the wrong title. Duh. I went to St. Vinny's and I did find these, but you'll notice that even though they're smaller than the normal altered book that I would do, like say this guy, this is a textbook. This guy, which was a novel, it's about the size of a Reader's Digest, but narrower. Even though these were quite a bit bigger than what she had. I did finally find these on eBay. They have a truckload of them. I got garden flowers. Well, first of all, I ordered The Observer's Book of Dogs. 300 breeds and varieties, 148 illustrations. This one came complete with purple and silver vintage wrapping paper. For some reason, they put wrapping paper on this side of it and cut it all so that it was in between the book jacket and the book. I don't understand. It was inside. See, the color was on the inside. I never saw a book wrap like that. I thought about keeping it, but it was crispy and it was crumbly and stinky, and I got rid of it. These are from the UK. I got mail from the UK. I'm so excited. This was reprinted in 1962. The originals, I think, were from the 40s, but I'm not sure. Even still, they are so beautiful, and they have all the dogs. French Bulldog. Look how much taller the Frenchie was. Even the Boston's quite a bit taller. There's the Boston Terrier, a little bit taller than today's breed. Round-headed Terrier, Boston Bull. I just would like to point out that the Boston Terrier is undoubtedly the smartest and most popular dog of American creation. I just want to point that out. My dogs are smart. I have a bumper sticker that says my Boston Terriers are smarter than your honor student. I'm not kidding. They are smart. I'm going to put a little funny video in here that just makes me laugh and hopefully tickles your funny bone as well. Wait for it. Boom. Spring loaded. That's why all the baby gates in our house are 4.5 feet high. I am so glad this is here. I don't know that I'll alter this. This will probably just go in my dog book collection because I just think it's one of the coolest things ever. So I ordered this one and I thought, oh, I'll do that. And then of course came to my senses and thought, you're not gonna tear pages out of that and alter it in any way. So then I ordered the Garden Flowers one. And I don't know why I ordered botanicals. There's an entire series: birds, wildflowers, trees and shrubs, wild animals, freshwater fishes, grasses, sedges and rushes, dogs, horses and ponies, geology, aircraft, ferns, architecture, the larger moths. Ships would be fun. Music, common insects and spiders, birds' eggs. I might go back and get that one if I can find it. Mosses and liverworts, automobiles, weather, that might be kind of cool. Locomotives, my dad would love that. Pond life, garden flowers, which is the one that I got. Painting and graphic art, that would be awesome. I'll go back and look for that one. And cacti. Oh, and common fungi, I missed that one. Mushrooms and eggs, I'll have to go look and see if I can find those. Because the reason I got garden flowers is because the wildflower ones that Meg has wasn't available. There are some, and you gotta watch. I got these, postage and all. I think one was 10 and one was 12. Postage and all from the UK. Now, some people want to charge $23 to ship this little book from the UK here. So be careful if you're going to try and order these. You can find them cheaper and watch the shipping because they're kind of crazy. I didn't think $10 was bad because it just made my heart glad. So again, I don't know, like I said, I don't know why I picked wildflowers, but look, the beautiful illustrations, color and black and white. And I just think they're fun. I do love my garden flowers. I do love, so I may do a nice little botanical. In fact, I am starting a project as we speak that is botanical. Look at that beautiful spring green. This is the I think it was 1967. I think it was the 1960s. I have it written down somewhere, or I can Google it. It is, I believe it's the Reader's Digest Book of Gardening, I think is what it was called. That's what happens when you tear out pieces and parts of it. But I'm going to make an altered book of this. I'm quite jazzed. It's going to be one of my 3-in-1s. So I'm quite excited about that. Since we're here and talking about vintage books, the other day when I showed you my recent St. Vinny's haul, I forgot one. Typing Made Simple. This is from 1957. And it has all these great typeface things in different forms, and it has a lot of the keyboard, a lot of illustrations of the keyboard. And I know that I'm going to do a writer's journal or two, and this was just perfect. And so I snagged a few of my favorite pages out of this Typing Made Simple. I got this for, might have been 99 cents. I think St. Vinny's raised their book prices from 59 to 99 cents. Might have done that a long time ago, and I'm just now catching on. But isn't this a great illustration of a typewriter? I just love this. From Royal Typewriter. I just think it's so cool. And then some vintage illustrations of old typewriters and all the different settings and how you should sit when you're typing and how you should place your hands. And I just love this book. This was fun. So there's that. And then finally, another vintage book that I ordered quite a while back. Probably been 2 months. And I'm sure you've seen it. Everyone and their brother has it. They're tearing it apart and they're working with it. I watched Juliet Camellia Crafts Design tear up these pages and use them for end pages. And she gutted the book and made a journal out of it. And it's about Edith Holden, and it's by Michael Joseph, compiled by Ina Taylor, called The Edwardian Lady. Here's the cover of it. Because junk journalers have made hay with all of Edith Holden's books, they were reprinted in the 70s en masse, but people have been eating them up, and the actual books by Edith Holden are getting very hard to find, and people who have them know their worth, and so they've jacked up the prices. You used to be able to find an Edith Holden book because nobody knew what they were, what nobody cared, for $4 or $5, $3, $4 at a St. Vinny's haul, or you might run across them by mistake. But on eBay and whatnot, they're $15, $20, $25, $40, $60, $80, depending on who's selling them. This is not a book by Edith Holden. It is the story of Edith Holden. Now, I'm always interested in the backstory of things. I don't read the books by authors. I read books about the authors who wrote the books. I'd rather read the genesis of how they made books and how they became writers. I'd rather read about them and their journey than the actual novels. This is about Edith Holden. This is a backstory of who she was born to, what kind of family she grew up in. But of course it has loads and loads of her illustrations in, and other illustrations. I don't know if all these illustrations are hers or not, but look, beautiful illustrations, handwritten letters, a poem composed by one of Arthur Holden's close friends, dated 1888. There's Evelyn Holden in the garden, painting a poster for one of her charity events. There's Arthur Holden in the 1890s. Anyway, loaded with beautiful illustrations, but the entire story of her life and beautiful examples of her work and her wonderful script handwriting. Yes, I know. I think that's her, Edith Holden, EBH. Here's one of my favorite things. She did posters for the Humane Society. Help us. Horses and dogs and cats and bunnies and ducks. One of Edith's postcards, produced about 1907 for the Royal Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. She regularly sent the society donations and designed several of their postcards. What I wouldn't give for one of her postcards for the Humane Society or the PCA. I got this on eBay, and it wasn't terribly high priced. I believe it might have been $10 with free shipping, maybe $8 with free shipping, maybe it was $4 plus $4 shipping. I don't remember, but I have to say it smells ungodly. Not old book smell, which I love. I love the smell of old books that have been at the library or on someone's bookshelf or at the cottage for 1,000 years. This is musty, mildewy, moldy smelling. I put it in my window for sunshine and fresh air all day, every day for 3 weeks. Before that, I tucked newspaper in because that supposedly soaks up some stank. I tucked bits of newspaper in it. I wrapped it in newspaper and I put it in a brown paper bag, which also is supposed to draw things out, with coffee grounds. It did nothing for the smell. So then I started putting it in my window, open the window, put it between the glass and the screen so it would get fresh air all day, every day. I've had it outside in the sunshine, in the wind. I've sprayed it with Ozium odor remover, and it still stinks to beat hell. I wanted to read this book. I want to know more about her. For example, all of you Edith Holden fans, Edith Blackwell Smith, she drowned. How very sad is that? They don't suspect foul play. It looks as if she was standing on a small river's edge, reaching for a branch, and lost her footing, maybe hit her head on a stone and drowned in the water. Somebody, passerby, found her in the water. Did you know that? Edith Holden drowned at a fairly young age. Let's see. She died in 1920, and her birth certificate is in here, I think. 1871 to 1920, so 20, in her 50s, I guess. So 71 to 01 would be 30, plus 19. So not that young, but, right, am I doing that math right? Because, you know, it makes my head ache. But her tragic death in 1920, I had no idea that she drowned. What a waste. But look at this beautiful book. I was going to read it and then cut it up, but I'm going to have to get another copy to read because this one is ungodly. And I contacted the eBay person that sent it to me and said, oh my God, I have done everything to get the stink out of this book. I heard nothing back. Nothing. I'm glad to have it, but it is, it's just a treasure. It's filled with beautiful things. And so if you can't get your hands on one of her books, by all means, track this particular one down. Again, this is what the dust jacket looks like, compiled by Ina Taylor. The Edwardian Lady, the story of Edith Holden, author of The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, because it is filled with beauty. You may, see, there's one worth sharing. Look at those gorgeous dragonflies. A watercolor by Edith from a scrapbook of her work. The date is not known, but it's interesting to compare it with the nature notes for July on page 87. So let's do that. What's on page 87? The nature notes, page 87. So we go to page 87 and I got nothing. Huh, isn't that bizarre? Maybe it's in a different book, Nature Notes for July. I don't know, but Edith at the time of her marriage. Aw, look, heartbeats at her feet. Actually, that's the Countess Fedora Gleichen in her studio. Her work can be found in many parts of the world, and when she died, a fund was set up in her name to give grants to women sculptors. So that's not Edith. That's someone else. Very interesting story. I wish I would be able to have read it and tell you more about her, but it stinks. I'm going to take this back outside right now and let it sit. It is super, super windy here today. We missed spring. It's supposed to be 83 degrees and sunny here with high winds. There's been no spring. We went from snow to, Jesus Christ, is it hot? Welcome to Michigan. That's our weather. So if you're jazzed about doing a small altered book, go on eBay. If you're interested in getting some information about Edith Holden, look for that book. So many good things to play with. I can't wait. Watch for the garden botanical. Yeah, the botanical on gardening. I can't even believe I'm saying that. I don't know. I got hit by the spring bug, I guess. And I'm planning to sell it. So it's not for me. It's for the person who loves botanicals and gardening books. I love gardening. I don't know. That's why I bought the garden flowers. Oh, I gotta go look for bird eggs and mushrooms. You have a lovely, lovely crafty day. Love up those beastlies because they are magical, wonderful creatures. We can learn a lot from them. Take care. Mate at the lake. Out for now.